Good morning, folks. NC4XL, North Carolina for extreme lovers, and I'm not. This is Dom. Disclaimer. This is raw, uncut. I don't do any of the fancy stuff, so if that bothers you, just go on to another video. I don't have time, and I'm not trying to be some super duper trooper who can do all the cutting and editing and splicing. That's not it. I'm just an old man wanting to try to help in my own way. If I help one person today, before I go, I've done something positive. And I'm sharing this video because something come across, that nasty word Facebook, where a statement was said or mentioned or typed, however you wish to interpret it. I'm talking to you, the new hunter. I'm talking to you, the new activator. I'm talking to you, the experienced hunter and the experienced activator, because it takes both sides to work together. This is a hobby. You don't get nothing fancy for it. If you make any accomplishments, you're rewarded it with achievement certificates. Nobody's going to pay you money for going out and doing what you do for fun. This is a hobby. And if I'm sound a little stressed, I'm really bothering a couple things and I'm an activator, so I guess it struck my feathers a little rough. When an activator goes out to a park, that's their responsibility, nobody else's, to know where the heck they are. Now, not everybody's going to do the research that the darling old man does, and I research every twofer, threefer, and the fourfer I have to legitimately document that I am where I say I am. And to be challenged by, and I'll use the word, a relatively new hunter, or a relatively new activator, or an old hunter, or an old activator, I have to do my homework. I have to sleep every good at night, every day. That's my responsibility. When somebody says you can't do that, and they're sitting at their house. Now, yes, I do not know if they have maps in front of them. Yes, I do not know if they know the territory that we're talking about. Are they familiar with trails, how trails work? How parks overlap parks, not butt in next to. There's a difference. So let's work on some of those differences so some of the new hunters and new activators don't understand. If two parks butt next to each other like a road dividing each one, that's not a parked park. In old days, we'd call it like a county line. If the park on the left side of the road crossed the road into the right side park and is part of it also, or a trail, then you have your twofer or you have your threefer. There are instances where you can have a fourfer or fivefer, but there are guidelines that have got to be researched, especially if you're an activator. Everybody's going to doubt you. I don't know why. We should be able to take the word of an activator if we're a hunter. And our word as an activator should be very good because people are going to look at it. They butt up next to each other, not a twofer. A trailhead is a half a mile away from where you're at, not a twofer. Period. The guidelines in the FAQ specifically state the distance required. Stop stretching it. Well, who's going to know? You don't know who's going to know activator, who's going to drive up on you. Not that they're trying to be Billy Bad Cop. They're not. They maybe just want to meet you. And you're not where you're at. You're at a park to park 4 miles away. Can't happen. As simple as that. It cannot happen. Know where the heck you're going. Know where you're at. That's the part of work that it takes on the activator's side to know where they're going. And generally, for you new activators, that pin gives you an area, not an exact spot. That park might be 5 miles in diameter. It might have a game land sitting right in the middle of it. It might have a trail sitting right in the middle of it. It might have another park sitting right inside the forest. I'm talking about a forfer that I have right here in the Carolinas. Not many people know where it's at, and I'm not going to share it, but when I'm there, you should be able to find it. The same thing when we're out there as an activator. Know where you're at. I take pictures of every activation I go to. Why? It time stamps it off of my cell phone. That's to cover my little anatomy, because somebody's always going to be looking out to try to prove that you're not where you're at. Well, I don't have to worry about that. And 99% of the activators that are out there, I trust their word until they prove one time that they were not. And then more than likely, I won't work them. Why? Because if I can't trust your word once, I can't trust your word never again. As a hunter, if you've never been outside your doorstep, and please don't be offended when I say this, if you haven't been outside that area, they're 700 miles from you, and you're looking at some big map, and it's, I don't know the age or date of the map that you got. The hunter's there, and they're utilizing their mapping aids. The park that they're at provide aids for maps. Don't challenge them on the air. If you have any doubts, couple things. Email me. If you doubt me, email me. But don't call me down on the air. Don't call any of us down on the air. This is a hobby. Have fun at it. Creating hate and discontent because you don't want to do this, or you don't want to do that, or you don't believe it. Well, you haven't been there. You don't know what it's like. Let's share something with some of you hunters so you realize there's some parks that we go into. Hey, the weapon is out. It's not sitting hidden. And the reason it is because the area that we're in, that we're activating for you hunters sitting in your comfort zone of your home, don't realize that we got just a couple steps away from somebody coming around doing some crazy, stupid stuff, and it happens every day. There's parks now that I've been to twice, first and last. I won't go back. When I was a newbie, and I've been activating since April of 2021. So I got a couple parks under me. When I started out, I went anywhere because I didn't know any better. If you're a new hunter, if you've been to that park, awesome. If you haven't been to the park, shut up. If you don't know the area, keep quiet. Don't challenge the people who are giving you an opportune time to have fun and enjoy the radio and make contacts and not being in a contest. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated. I'm frustrated at some of the people that I guess want to be heard. I don't want to be heard. I just want to go out and have fun. If you have an issue with anybody, hunter and activators, if you work somebody you doubt or you know where you've been and they're not where they're at, send it to the help desk. Let them do the research. Let them be the Billy Bad Cop, if you want to call it that. That's their job. That's not our job. If I'm out of band, tell me, hey, Dom, you're out of band. I get right back in. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. Don't think I haven't done it. Those things happen. But to call somebody out on the air and humiliate, that's not going to help Parks on the Air. And I wanted to make a comment on a post that I seen. I chose not to because I have a habit of opening my mouth. But let me assure you, any of you, if you've even still listening to this, if I tell you I'm at a forfeit, I am there. If I have to send you the pictures to prove it, I'll do it. But I do research with Mountain to Sea Trail, the maps that they provide online, and I'm using that trail because they provide it, and that's where I go. It covers from the other side of North Carolina down to the coast. Not in a straight line and not continuous. There's breaks. You got to know where you're at. And if you're in 2 or 3 parks that are all within a state forest and they're all within each other, then that's your 2 for 3 for. If you're a new hunter, enjoy the ride, take people at their word. But to be somebody's going to challenge everybody's possibilities, it doesn't work that way. You lose more friends than you gain. I've probably lost friends because I posted this. If 2 people go out, Mike and I will both spot on different park numbers at the same frequency at the same time. And then in the comments section, we will put the additional parks. For you new hunters, if you're not familiar with the comment section because you've never assisted us or spotted us or respotted us, every time there's a respot, the comments information goes away. And that's where I put everything at. That's where Mike puts the additional parks at. That's where a lot of people will put the additional information, 2 ops, 3 ops. If you go to a park listing that's spotted, and you see my call, let's use my call for an example, and you go down to the very bottom of it, and it says history on the right-hand side, little green iconish. Click on it. Now what's going to happen is you will see every spot and respot there. And if you're a smart enough person and you know that I'm going to put the other parks there, scroll down until you see it, put your finger on it if you're using a phone like what I use. Now, I can't say about a laptop, but you can probably right-click it and copy it, and paste it in a new spot, the park, so it gets back up there. Our activations are created, the number of contacts come from the spotting, and it comes from people following. I can't do anything without you on the other side of this video. Nothing. That's like me going out to a park and don't tell nobody I'm going. Don't put my 2 coffee cups up in the morning. I just go sit there, and then I spin the dial and hope I'll find somebody. And there's times when that happens when you don't get no cell service, or you get somewhere where there is no cell service at all. But help the activators. It's a challenge, hunters. If you've never been out there, don't challenge an activator. It is sometimes more difficult than going to your local grocery store or fast food place and getting something to eat. There's elements that most people, because they don't know what an activator goes through, they're blind to. Enough of the complaining. I am very sorry that I even put this video out, but I think, daggone it, it's time that people start. This is a hobby, guys and gals. The activator should know where they're at. The hunter should trust them. And if a hunter finds reason not to, don't work them. You don't have to. There's a station I will not work. I will not share that station's call sign because it's been proven that they were not where they say they were, and I don't want my logs tainted by somebody whose word is worthless. But that's me. I'm not in it for a challenge in numbers. I love all the contacts I get, but I want them all legit. Y'all have a super day. Forgive the old man. Forgive the old man for being a human being. But I take an awful lot of pride in what I do. And I know many of the activators who go out, spend their time, money, and their vacations, and their anniversaries, and their birthdays, and things like that, to go out and help the hunters at the same time and fight the elements. They appreciate you. May God bless NC4XL, North Carolina for extreme lovers, and I'm not. Just a darling old man that's a human being just like you on the other side of this video.